So let me get this straight. The evolution of bad dinos in the Jurassic series is T-Rex, Spinosaurus, Indominus Rex, Indoraptor, Giganotosaurus, Rancor? So Jurassic World Rebirth starts 5 years before the Jurassic World incident, where a top-secret InGen lab is experimenting with a mutated dino dubbed Distortus Rex, and he is almost able to escape due to an incident involving, no joke, a rogue Snickers wrapper. Fast forward 17 years, and dinosaurs are starting to die out except around the equator. Martin Krebs, an executive at a pharmaceutical company, reaches out to ex-military covert operative Zora Bennett to put together a team to assist him in taking some dino blood samples that might just contain the cure to heart disease and who knows what else. Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by my channel. I'm the guy with no name. I did want to give you guys a big thank you before we go on with the review that I reached my goal of 300 subscribers, so much appreciated, and my ultimate goal is to get to, the first step is to get to 500 subscribers, so any subscribers that can come my way and help me reach that ultimate goal of 500 would be much appreciated. Jurassic World Rebirth was directed by Gareth Edwards and stars Scarlett Johansson as Zora Bennett, Jonathan Bailey as Dr. Henry Loomis, a dinosaur expert, Mahershala Ali as Duncan Kincaid, a longtime friend of Zora's, Rupert Friend as business executive Martin Krebs, Manuel Garcia Rulfo as Ruben Delgado, a dad whose family gets mixed up in the top secret mission. Also, the Industrial Light and Magic puppet as the Rancor, and of course Paul Brook reprising his role as the Rancor keeper Malakili. I'll start off by saying this movie isn't offensively bad like I thought the other two installments were. The cast does a good enough job. I appreciated that they all seemed to be trying when they easily could have phoned it in. Did I buy Scarlett Johansson as this hardened, grizzled Spec Ops mercenary? Not really, but I gotta admit, I liked her character and her in the role a lot more than I thought I would, given the trailers. I also thought she had great chemistry with Jonathan Bailey and Mahershala Ali, and I bought their relationships, and also, I do like Manuel Garcia Rulfo in pretty much anything I see him in, though I gotta admit, he plays a pretty bad dad in this, that there are at least like 5 different occasions I can think of just off the top of my head where his kids would have died as a direct result of his lax parenting, despite them being on a dinosaur-infested island. So it's definitely interesting some of the things that he's okay with them doing by themselves, and they definitely probably would have died in real life. And honestly, the whole family I could have done without because they're really just there to add to the character roster. They don't really bring too much to the table, and they kind of are, most of the time they're separated anyway, so it's kind of weird. But the real reason everyone goes to a Jurassic movie is the dinosaurs. Unfortunately, the dinosaurs don't look too good here. I feel like the CGI was serviceable, but not that great, and basically every single shot I could tell it was a CGI creature chasing a real person, so sometimes it would undercut the intensity. Probably the best looking CGI scene was, and this was in the trailer so I'm not spoiling anything, but the T-Rex river scene, I felt like that looked really good overall, especially kind of stood out. And then, yeah, despite the CGI not looking the best, there still were some intense moments, and some of the dinosaurs were really cool, other than, like I already hinted at, I'm not really a big fan of the big bad dino. I may be getting a little too detailed, but I personally find it interesting that they kept Jurassic World in the title, because if you think back, with the exception of The Lost World, the first 3 had Jurassic Park in the title, and then the next 3 had Jurassic World in the title, since they sort of shifted gears and focused on Jurassic World Park. So it's interesting they still kept this as Jurassic World. I know the tagline Rebirth makes it sound like it's a soft reboot, and it definitely is. I think it even goes beyond a soft reboot, where it's almost like they didn't really like the direction things went, especially with the 3rd one, with dinosaurs being everywhere in the world. And so it's almost like they undid that decision and said, let's just say the dinosaurs died out, except for around the equator, specifically around this island. So we're basically back to square one. And then, speaking of the story, it's a bit too simplistic. Obviously, you find out what the main plot is pretty early on, and they talk about it and there's exposition, but you assume there's going to be more to it. But really the only thing that adds more depth to it is the family aspect, which I said didn't really work for me that well. So yeah, if I had gone into this movie with higher expectations, then I definitely would have been disappointed. But luckily, like I said, I was not a fan of the last two Jurassic World movies, and on top of that, I did not think any of these trailers looked very good, so it ended up being slightly better than I expected. But the best two parts for me about seeing the movie in theaters were seeing the first trailer for The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's new movie, which I'm excited about, especially since I'm a big Iliad and Odyssey fan. And then also hearing some of the familiar tunes of John Williams' iconic Jurassic Park score. But yeah, pretty telling that those are the two best parts of the movie. So in the end, Jurassic World Rebirth was okay, but I really want to recommend seeing it unless you had an extra fistful of dollars to spare. Let me know in the comments if you plan on seeing Jurassic World Rebirth, or if you've seen it already, what did you think of it? Did you like it more than me, or did you think it was way worse than I was saying and I was a bit too nice to it? Let me know in the comments. I really do try to get to each and every one of them. Thank you for watching. If you want to watch more of my content, I got a review of F1 out that I'd appreciate you taking a look at. This is the guy with no name, signing off.